And hello. This is Lessons with Larry, episode 50. And we have made it to episode 50. Yeah. So, what do we have here today? We have the amazing Stephanie Winfrey. All right. And we also have Money Mike. And last but not least, we have the leader of the new school, old school, and everything in between. The man that'll show you what smooth look like when you're trying to be mean. We got the man that'll put it down when you need it down and show you what's up when it's down. Now here we go. We got Larry Lott, and he giving it up. Let's give it up for Larry Lott. Let's go. Episode 50. We made it halfway through a millennium. There we go. All right. And what's today's subject? What is the difference between people saying they want to help you versus doing something to help you win? What's the difference between people saying they want to help you win versus people doing something to help you win? And here we go. Here's Larry.
But thanks for the introduction. That introduction I wasn't prepared for. You know what I mean? Simply because it was unusual. It was long. It was nice, and it was well received. Thank you, Mr. George F. Grundy II. Thank you. I'm tripping over my own words. Now, yeah. So the subject today is So how you doing, Miss Stephanie? Good to see you again. Good to have you back.
Nice being here.
Yeah.
I missed last week.
Sure.
Yeah.
You feeling better now?
I'm feeling much better.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a trip, but I'm here.
Well, yeah, you here. That's all that matters.
I'm here.
What's going on, brother Money Mike? How you doing this week?
I'm good, man. It's always a pleasure to sit with you, bro.
Yeah, man. It's always a pleasure to have you next to me, straight up.
And just for the record, man, everybody always asks me, man, your brother, what do the LAL stands for? I said, well, it was a couple things. Back when he was single in his single days, it was Ladies Love Larry. I said, then it turned into now, presently, is Legendary Larry.
Okay.
I received that,
So
bro.
now y'all know.
Like that.
I received it.
Legendary Larry.
Thank you. Wow.
That goes down in the books.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I might want to be quiet and let y'all keep talking.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but nonetheless, you know what I mean. I appreciate that, brother. You know what I mean. And I'm just navigating my way through this thing called life. And as you go through life, you actually have things that you can pick up along the way. Some people call them nuggets. Some people call them gems. Some people call them jewels. But the main thing is, through your journey through life, you should pay attention and don't move so fast to where you don't pick up the lessons that comes with life.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Straight up. And today's subject is knowing when someone saying they want to see versus someone actually helping you win. And there's a big difference. There's a meme that we want to put up. As soon as Brother George get it, you know what I mean? We're gonna put that up, and I want y'all to look at it and tell me what you think. You can call in, or you can send a comment and just tell me what you think, and tell me, have you seen this apply anywhere in your life? And we have to highlight things that happen to us along our journey.
Absolutely.
And in order to be able to ensure that those things continue to happen, and that you can actually change those things and change yourself as well.
Change your surroundings.
Have you ever experienced this question?
Oh,
Stephanie,
yeah.
have you ever experienced someone
Absolutely.
saying that they want to see you win,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to actually helping you win?
Oh, absolutely. I experienced it in the workforce.
Workplace, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked in the pharmacy, and they was like, yeah, you can be a manager, this, and yeah, you got the credentials, you got the degree, you got the experience, and all of this. Oh, they helped me all the way to
the
almost
door.
to the top, and then they helped me to the door. Absolutely. Yeah, but they didn't want to see me win.
Right.
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 Because you got people that don't want to get ahead, don't want you to get ahead because they want to stay ahead.
Right. They want to stay ahead of you.
They want to stay ahead, but they want to pretend like that because in the process, you're really helping them.
Right.
When you
How
thought
was that?
when you thought you was helping yourself, because now I'm working harder. So the harder I'm working, the better they looking because they're the boss. So if I'm working harder for them, making their uh office look good, their project look good, that's making them look good, right? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm helping myself,
Yeah.
but all along,
They gonna take all the credit anyway.
yeah, but all along I was helping them. When
Right.
they had me thinking, they had their hand up, I'm holding on. They got, "Oh, oh,
Let you go. Yep.
yep."
Yes.
And then they rose to the occasion. They got
Mm.
the promotion.
Mm.
They went on to something else.
Mm.
So that happens
They
in the
help themselves, like
yep,
you
they
said.
help themselves,
Yeah.
and that's a true story.
Yeah. And that's right.
Yep, and I ended up quitting, and that's when I decided I was done. After 20 years of work, I was done. Couldn't take it. Mhm.
You know, I tell my daughter, um, I got for those who don't know, I got an 8-year-old daughter. And I tell her, I explain to her at an early age, and I want her to understand, the fact that the more you make when it comes to being employed, the more you make, the less you do.
Yeah,
So if you want to do a whole lot of work for someone else or whatever, helping them out, then stay at a menial position.
stay down at the bottom.
Stay down at the bottom because you're gonna do all the work. All the
Yep.
work falls on you.
Mhm.
And if you really don't like working a whole lot for somebody, get your credentials and your experience and your degrees.
Your
Yeah,
portfolio, get it
build that
together.
up. But yeah, so how you feel about that? About today's subject, brother
I
Mike?
mean, that's definitely, that take place, each and every day. That's part of life, that we live.
Mhm.
There's
Is
always going
the
to be,
meme is up?
there's,
Okay, all right.
there's
Mhm.
always going to be somebody, you understand, pretending, acting like they're your friend and want to
There
see
you
this,
go.
but all along they feel totally different and doing everything behind your back to sabotage you.
Mm,
But living in today's time, a lot of people don't even hide it. They'll come out, you understand, and let you know they're not trying to see you make it,
Absolutely.
and do everything they can, in their power to not let you make it for the for
Yep.
the simplest of things. So it's definitely, the
Yep.
cutthroat world, the part of it. Now everybody's not bad,
right.
but we definitely have that cutthroat,
Mhm.
as part of this society that we live in, been here since the beginning of the time, and it's gonna be here toward the end.
And,
They have
okay.
a reality show. I forgot that it's the mole. I think it's the mole. It's created to see who help who get to the top. And who pretends like they're helping someone to the top.
Yeah, I think it's who shows who's the bad person, who's
Yep.
really the. Can you pick who's the sabotager
Who's the
out of it?
sabotager?
Yeah,
But
I'm
you
familiar with
you
it.
working together to see who can make it. Yeah. But that's who you when you really put trust in somebody.
Mhm.
They're saying when you putting trust in somebody, like, yeah, they gonna help me get this, the mole. They gonna help me get here. We running through here. I'm gonna grab it. You got a whole plan. When in reality, that person you working with is sabotaging you.
Hmm.
So, and that goes like in life with your friends. I had a conversation with someone.
Are they really
I,
friends?
I'm getting ready to go there.
Okay.
I had a conversation with someone related to this same topic that we're talking about. How much do we help people that we so-called call our friends? And I won't even take it here, family. Okay, you can tell you
You can start with family. How
we
about
can
that?
start with family because family could be worse than friends, you know. But I had a conversation that was going on basically about this same subject, and I had to just put it down on the 100. I just had to put it down like, listen, you cannot be nice to everybody anymore. Not like you used to. You can, and that could be I mean, because people take advantage of it now. And then you have to come back and say, well, if I help and I keep doing this, if I need it, are they gonna help me?
Mm.
Yeah. Well,
Or are they gonna say, no, I can't, I ain't got it, I can't do it?
right. No, I feel what you're saying, but at the same time, you can't let other people's flaws and negativities change who you are. You can help people, but
Right.
just understand who you helping. Say if I
Right.
do
Now
this,
that's
I'm
true.
doing this, but I don't expect nothing or this in return from it. But do it because that part of it because of
Right.
you. But then it do come to the
But
point where
if you
some
need
say, I can't help this person
right.
because, it means me no good
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to end up backfiring on me. So I could understand the withdrawal and say, no, I'm not going to lend that helping
Yeah.
hand.
And then I say that because it's been times where I help several people. And then when I reach out and I need nobody, and then I'm thinking, wow, not that I'm really, really needing it, because at the end of the day, I'm a strong individual. I'll make it happen. But I'm just thinking, when you really need somebody, the people that you done really helped out there, and I've helped so many. But if I really, and I thought about it, if I really need someone, help from those people that I reached out and gave a hand to, can they give me their hand? And would they really do it? That's a question.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I presented to both of you guys. Where do you think that come from? That behavior trait. Where do you think it come from?
I would say, in my opinion, I believe that it comes from selfishness.
Yep. Start
Selfishness,
there.
I think is the root. However, if you look at different ethnic groups, which I like to always, I'm black, so I like to
Yeah.
always look at other ethnic groups and compare myself, or not myself, to them, but I look at the way
Their
my
background.
mentality is and the way that I was raised, my mental being is,
Yeah.
as opposed to other ethnic groups and how they handle things and things of that nature. Now, I would say this: when it comes to somebody saying that they, want to help you, actually, people probably do want to help you until you really need their help.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Now, as long as you doing well, they want to let you know, I'm there for you. I got you. I got your back. Whatever, whatever. But the minute you really need them, then that's when you can't get
find
in
them.
touch.
Or you find out the
Or
truth.
you
No,
find,
you
that's
find
when
out
you
the
find out the
truth.
facts. I mean,
And that's putting it where I need to be put.
and you find out that you find out the facts. So, it's kind of like one of those things to where I'll celebrate you while you're winning, and I'll do all that I can to convince you that, hey, if I would have had the opportunity, I would have helped you win. I would have helped you win.
Right.
However,
After the fact.
Once you ask the person for their help or you call their bluff, then they're not really willing to help you, but they help. They're willing to help to celebrate your success as if they would have helped you did it, but they don't want to participate in in the process.
Yeah, but I was watching I was watching some on TV, and it was an interview, and one of the NBA older fellas told the younger fella, he said, "Let me talk to you." He told the young, prosperous younger NBA player that was getting money, he said, "Let me talk to you for a minute." He said, "Let me share something with you." He said, "Whatever you do, he said, well, no, you're going to have to stop what you're doing." He said, "Because you're starting something that's setting you up for a big old letdown." He said, "The minute your money is not coming the way it once was with your entourage that
Your
you
phone
keeping,"
ain't ringing.
he said, "you're going to find that nobody's in the room with you."
Yeah.
So he said, instead of you finding this out later, he said, let's test that theory. He said, "Go ahead, just tell them this and cut it off." Man, say as soon as he cut it off, people looked at him funny, shied away from him.
Yeah.
And then another good example of it, when that boxer coming up and he hot, whooping butt, he a champion, he got all the entourage, they all there for him.
Yeah.
When he
Lose
that belt
first fight, lose it,
and that bag go to going down,
it's boo.
ain't nobody
around.
Yeah.
There's
Gone.
nobody there.
Yeah.
We have
So we had a comment from Chrissy Lott.
Just Sharice Lott.
Sharice Lott. I apologize,
Yeah,
Miss
you be
Sharice. I always
burning.
mess your
Okay.
name up.
Okay.
So, but she said, "Legendary Larry." I like that, bro.
She like that.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
With two hands like this, making a heart.
Okay, then. All right. Thank you.
Respect.
Appreciate that, baby. Appreciate that. It's good to be. I would
I
say
got
it's
you,
good.
Sharice.
It's
We
good to
blew
be
the horn.
appreciated for you just being yourself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I ain't never tried to be nothing that I wasn't. and I ain't gonna try to be somebody that I'm not, unless I'm being a better person.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And
You
see,
know.
I can testify to that wholeheartedly because I was there from day one.
Right.
Nothing's changed about him.
Mhm.
Only thing is what they say. He like the wine, like a wine. Get better with time. He only elevated who he already was, because he kind of turned me on to try to be extra cool. And I'm watching him and Boogie, him and cousin Boogie. They get to put together cool kids.
Cool kids.
Looking, and they sell it on me. But
Cool
that's
kids.
been cool kids. But that's been him. But now with his aging and his wisdom, he just only enhanced it into become, just being who he is,
wiser.
but just making it blossom to the fullest.
Yep.
But it's nothing new. I just laugh and look because it ain't changed from us kids in the sandbox.
And with that said, this episode has been brought to us by Aches and Pains.
Yes.
Aches and pains.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And you the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I say, and I want to say this, when I resurfaced, you know what I'm saying? My brother came to me and he say, look, man, I got this and I ain't got much. He say, but every time I get something, you got something if you need, if you want it, all you gotta do is just let me know. You know what I mean? And I knew it came from the heart. It wasn't no, I'm just saying this, and you know what I'm saying? I knew it came from the heart. And just because someone offer you help, if you don't need it, don't accept it. However, just know that it's there for you. You know what I mean? And that's part of, only a user will see somebody offering them something that they say, okay, instead of me, okay, I'll say, you can say, hey man, I'll help you get up. Well, if I know I can get up on my own,
right,
then I'm not gonna ask for your help.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I know, hey, you will help me if I need you.
So it be that one person. But how many people, like we was talking, you had that show on your circle and your square.
Oh, yeah.
So how many people in your square that you know that if you reached out and you really needed them, that they there?
But see, anybody with sense, and that's part of what makes it so difficult for us to come together as a people. Because when you look at our lives and the way things unfold, you would say, I got a circle, but this circle really needs to be a period. It needs to be small. It needs to be just like if you take a number 2 pencil and jab it on, that's how big your circle need to be. Yeah. However, we can't get to where we need to be as a people, with that type of mentality. So we have to change our way of thinking and have to change our approach. You know what I mean? By understanding. And it took me a while. I'm gonna tell you something about me. And I don't hate to be talking in third party, but I can only speak on myself, based upon what I know about me and the things that I've been through. When I see, I know it's a lot of people that pretend to say they would help me. And this ain't nothing brand new. It ain't nothing, no shade at nobody, but I've seen it throughout my whole life from the sandbox. I've seen people that will pretend to say they'll help you, but really they don't want to help you. They rather see you eating out a trash can. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And then some people will look at whatever little progress that you've made in life on your own. They'll look at that as a direct something against them. When that ain't the case.
That ain't even it.
I'm not comparing myself to you. I'm not trying to be you. If I can do something to help you, I will help you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That happens to me all the time.
So if I could, off of what you're saying,
yes, sir.
I've been trying to be silent on
Go ahead, come on.
But standing on a little soapbox, I can relate to that because Veterans Are Now, the organization that I founded in 2015.
Yes, sir.
This year is its 10th year anniversary.
Hey, I'm going to say thank you for your service. For real. Straight up.
You were worth it.
Yes.
And so with that, all those sentiments that you guys are saying, I went through those things through that. So even now, when I say the things that the organization has accomplished and I say it out loud, it's almost like people look like, and so who you think you is? That's how it feels. I can't tell you what people really
They're
say,
not
but you know,
interested.
when you've been around people and you've been around aggressive situations, you look at people's reactions, those little slight reactions in their faces.
That's
like,
the vibe.
yeah, it's
That's
like, good gracious, I'm just saying that I've been doing something, that we've been trying to accomplish things, not that we trying to brag on nothing. And you know, if it ain't like we made a whole bunch of money doing it, we gave more than we got.
Right.
So, you know, and those things are like, we've literally serviced over 50,000 residents in the city of Flint. We were the only non-religious nonprofit that was connected to the feds and the state when it came to the water that was coming to the community. We had a direct relationship. We were sitting at the tables of all the big churches and organizations that were distributing the water. We were distributing tons of water per week.
We was here. We witnessed the water distribution.
So I'm saying my little organization was right there doing the same or at more than the bigger organizations, while they telling me I don't belong in the room, while they saying, you know, you need to just sit over here, you're not going to succeed. And I'm like, man, my parents live in First Ward. I grew up in First Ward, so I'm going to do everything. Now, I put my house on the line in order to turn it into the water distribution hub, and I end up losing the house over doing that.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, when I needed assistance and help when I was going through the process of losing the home, everybody that got help from me or got some publicity or some camera shots from me, they wouldn't know where to be found. The political
when the cameras was rolling, everybody
I was everybody's favorite veteran.
Once the cameras get cut off,
right?
Other like people roaches when the light come on.
People that had issues with other than, they come stand next to me, so they look cleaner.
Yeah.
You know, while I'm trying to figure out life.
Yeah, but for all the good that's out here, you got to remember it's twice as bad as elements out here as well.
Absolutely.
You know, we could never forget that. You know,
right?
As much as me, we want something to be a certain way. You know, this is one of the things I always tell people early on. I see, you know, you can look at how and try to live life for the way it should be, but you're gonna go wrong. You have to live life according to how it is. You know,
not what it's gonna be.
And I tell them, you know, and they be like, "What you mean?" I said, "Well, truthfully, everybody should be able to leave their house with their doors wide open.
Facts.
And nobody go in and touch nothing.
Facts.
But we know that's not the reality.
Not now.
So lock your door and secure it as best you can. You know, so that's what we have to. When I say that,
understood, but we were dealing with that water stuff, and let me say this too, because I know sometimes it could be seem like I'm saying more than what I'm saying. It was hundreds of people that were doing distribution of water, that was getting water, trying to help their community. Hundreds of organizations.
Facts.
But when I say what I say, it was directly connected. When your paperwork had to be right, you had to have your dotted and T's crossed, sitting at the table with the federal government and state and the city.
Yeah.
My organization was the only non-religious organization doing that. And we were helping as many. I never said no to nobody, ever.
Right.
I didn't care, because we were being poisoned. So I didn't care if I didn't like you. I could tell you that I hate you, but I'm still going to help you.
Right.
So I'm saying, but that same, I can't think of the word, but the cycle of getting things in return, like, hey, look.
But see, when you needed it, it didn't come back.
Let me say this. Oftentimes, I found that, and when I speak, I speak from a humble position, and you know, I actually be speaking based upon my own experience, and I know I haven't experienced it. I know enough to know that I don't know enough. You know what I mean? So I haven't experienced everything, but I can speak on the things that I have experienced. So therefore, you know, you have to be mindful of when you do good. You know what I mean? To help someone. You know, it could be. It don't see. We get it twisted. We think, and I'm not talking about you, but I'm just saying, we as a whole, when we think help, we think monetary.
Yeah.
And it's not always like that. It's, you know, it's not always support is help. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Encouragement is help. It's true help when it comes from the right space.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even that.
So
right. And James Mayfield, the greatest Mayfield, said the word is reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Okay, my man. Shout out to the greatest Mayfield. Shout out to Brother James. Yes, sir.
But going off of what you're saying, you saying encouragement is help. But when we talk about your title for today, the difference between people saying they want to help you win versus doing something to help you win.
Right.
Now, giving
encouragement
from
the right space
and
from
giving
the right
encouragement
place.
is saying it. But encouragement with some sweat equity is some help.
Yes,
encouragement with an investment is some help.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 people that told me you're doing a good job. Keep going. Don't quit.
And they go
and after they get
leave
what
with
they
the
need,
words.
then I'm like, hey, can I get you to give me a paper towel? Like, Negro, I ain't giving you nothing but a smile and a coat. Like,
is the cameras on? Oh, the cameras ain't on. No, you can't get nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
and that's where I'm at.
You know, and so, but I used to ask myself. I used to be like, how do you know who to help? And
please,
the best thing came to me because everybody would, if they feel you in a position to help, even users will help you. I mean, will ask for your help.
Most
they ain't gonna. They will help you a little bit too, just to make sure that they
get what they need.
Want, to use you to get back.
Prime the pump.
Yeah, we prime the pump then. Okay, but as I was saying, when it comes to that, I asked myself, how do you know who to help? Well, the answer came back to me the most logical answer came back to me was, you help those who helping themselves. If you see them trying to help themselves,
and that's
then that's who you try to help.
Understood.
You know, so the same thing with if I see somebody trying to help me, you know, while I'm trying, it won't take much. Because if I'm trying to watch this, even if we say from a person laying down perspective, you laying down on the ground, you slipped and you fell. Now, if you just rolling over to my, I fell. You ain't propped yourself up on the elbow. You ain't reached out to, hey, give me a hand to get up. So obviously I'm thinking that you want to be down there. So let me step over you and keep moving. Right. Keep it moving.
And I agree to a point on that. But I think, but people make sure that they keep putting barriers or putting a mantle of higher expectations so they don't have to help. So, you didn't do this. You need to do this, or you need to do something else.
The first excuse for not helping is, I didn't know.
Those things too. But the people that have helped me, that in the sense, and to be the ones besides my family, like parents and stuff like that, is the ones that I wouldn't have expected, because they world may be completely upside down because they in a different world, and they say, I see you, bro. And so people like that have been helpful to make sure that I ain't drown.
Well,
right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, a lot of times, go ahead, Stephanie.
I'm helping someone right now, literally, in a situation. And I had said to myself that I was not helping nobody else, because I have helped so many people, and I did it again. And I think the only reason why I did it this time is because, like Larry said, I saw them helping themselves. And I've been watching this person for a while. And I sat back, and he felt my spirit, and he kind of grasped on to me like, yeah, he just, felt the type of person that I was. But I had been watching him. I was like, man, I said, I know I can help him, but God dang it. I said, I wasn't doing this no more, because I meant it. Because I've been.
What made you feel that way? What brought you to the point of saying, I don't want to help people no more?
I think it's the lack of empathy that people have, appreciation, and then and don't nobody appreciate nothing that you do anymore.
They feel like you owed it.
And I'm not saying that I feel like a person owe me anything, because you don't owe me nothing, right. Because everything comes from God, from the grace of God, with the things that I've gotten and been blessed with. Nobody has given me anything. Everything that I got it on my own. But guess what? It came from me and my giving. But I think because of the lack of appreciation and lack of knowing who I really am, you don't even know who I really am. And then I feel like during the time, and then when it get down to the end of it, and it's time to let them go, that's when they turn around and give you their butt to kiss.
Oh, yeah. Now, there's something to go with that. Can I say this? Now, what I found when you help certain people, but
Mhm.
these are the ones who I would classify as non-appreciative. And the reason why I say that is because I've been in the position. I ain't gonna say position, but I've made it my business to help people. I don't mind because I you
Me
know
either.
I need help sometime too.
Mhm.
However, what I found is you can do everything that anybody want, and the minute you tell them no, they gonna act like you ain't never did nothing for them in the first
Like
place,
never.
never in your
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
And
That's
Most
what that
definitely.
NBA
Absol-
player
and-
was saying, explaining to the other.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that answers your question.
You know, but those that really
appreciate
appreciate you, they'll be, if you
Nobody
tell them
appreciate
no,
nothing that
they'll
you
be
do.
like, hey, but thanks anyway. I appreciate it, man.
But-
You know,
and I
because
be
I know,
thinking,
you know, if you could, you would.
Would, right.
do
You know what I'm saying?
remember?
Right.
You know, I'm the one who
No,
helped
but see,
you.
you shouldn't
And I
have
was
to
the
hold on,
one that
listen,
made
listen.
you
No,
do-
no, see, no,
No.
that's another thing. When it comes to doing for people, we are not supposed to remember what we done. You know, y'all would be surprised at how many people came to me and told me, "Hey, man, you did this for me. You did that. I remember you did." And I'm sitting up here like I did. You know, not that it sound like something that I wouldn't do. It's just that
Mhm.
I have to tell them, "Hey, that wasn't for me to remember." If I'm trying to
Absolutely. I get
remember,
that.
that's actually an investment that I call myself
But
making.
exactly.
Because we done it.
That's what
We
it's called
talked
an
about this
investment.
same thing before.
Yep.
And we didn't
It's for me to remember. If you did something for me,
You
it's
right.
for me to
I
remember what
remember
you
him
did for
saying
me.
that.
Right, and we kind of getting the same. We kind
'Cause
of
it's
on
the
the same
facts.
thing, which
It
is not a
ain't changed.
problem.
Yeah.
But
It's
this is the
fact.
thing. I personally feel it's two parts to us, and then it depends on which part is given. You know, I feel we have the upper and the lower. Lower is the physicality of us.
Mhm.
The upper is the spirit.
Lord, so
See, the thing with me is I give and do from the spirit. And by me doing it from the spirit,
facts.
it
Me
don't
too.
register.
Facts.
I don't
I
care
promise
if
you.
at the moment I did it and you turn out to be the nastiest, foulest person it is. It don't bother me one bit because the place I did it from is what I wanted to do because of who I am with no expectations.
My man.
And that's the part you describing as don't remember. But when you do it from the
Lower
physicality, lower
self.
self, you doing it with an intent.
That's an investment
You're doing it with an intent and an expectation.
to bring it back
You
up.
know, for how it to come back to you.
No.
You expect when people do that. Cause listen, I'm not trying to. I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
Let's help this out in this
I got you.
talk.
I'm listening.
Because last time
Mhm.
we had to say it to you again. It was like I do this, and then they don't do this, nothing in return. You know, you can
I don't want
say
nothing in
something,
return.
but then when you say it, what you saying, we listening.
Mm-mm.
That's what some people can mean. So you know, when you say, and they don't do this back, and they don't do that,
Mm-mm.
that's doing it with expecting something
Yeah,
out of it.
that is. But when I do something, I'm not expecting anything. I mean, like I said, everything comes from God. I don't
Right.
want nothing. But when I see, like you said, it's an investment. Like when you when you invest in your children, you expect for them. You have expectations of them because you're invested in
For
them.
who?
Your
The
kids.
kids.
Yes,
Okay.
or
Right.
anybody.
Right.
So when you taking time, money that resources that you putting into a person. And I do expect to see them do something with it because that'll disappoint me. And the reason why it disappoint me because what I did for you and the things that I invested in you wasn't easy for me to get. Now let's start there. I worked hard for everything that I got.
Nah.
But if I invest in you, I expect
That's a sacrifice.
it's a sacrifice that I'm doing for you that I need you to elevate. And when I don't see you elevating
Then you
off
stop,
of my
you
sacrifice,
stop it. Okay,
and I do stop, but at the same time of stopping, then I say, okay, now I don't hear from them
that's cool.
or nothing like that. I'm like, wow, but it just show you how people are.
Right, but if you see,
So once I'm being shown who somebody is, I'm okay with that.
We getting into
I have to,
different.
I have to let them go.
No, I'm saying you on point, but you know, I feel different dynamics. Meaning, like, say for instance, if you as a mother, just hypothetically speaking, that if you as a mother, if you was talking about your kids,
right?
Say, man, I done did this and went in the
Yeah.
hole to get this for my kid, and then you'll feel your kid didn't make good on it. You know, you could be disappointed as a parent, but once you give, no matter what,
I
kid
can
or
still
whatever it
be
is,
disappointed.
I say you can be disappointed,
Yeah.
but we can't sit and give, and then even though you may expect or anticipate it, hey man, you could only do in your heart and say, as a mother, I know I tried to help and
But that's
gave to it.
disappointing.
But yeah, you could be disappointed.
I'm very and I
Yes.
guess I'm just an emotional person.
No,
And I
that's
guess
That's cool.
I think any parent would feel
I
that way.
Of
guess
course,
I'm
when it
just
comes
an
to the child,
emotional.
George,
Mm.
would you feel when it comes
Yeah.
to your children?
So
Yeah.
I believe multiple things can be true at the same time. So you
Mhm.
can
Right.
expect something from your giving,
But
while
then you need
giving
to
with a pew
understand.
heart. So me as a business owner, I expect to be able to, when I do something, if nobody can prove me to be a liar and I've done what I've done, then I expect to be able to level up to what the federal government say that I have the opportunity to level up to. I expect to get the
Expect them
grants
to
and the
honor that.
opportunities to do that.
Right.
I expect not to get barriers thrown my way. I expect public officials and people like that not to use the hidden hand or the boule or anything like that to say that I didn't do what I did. Because then that creates another thing, because that means that you don't want me to eat. You don't want me to grow as a business person. You don't want people in Flint to grow as business people, because if it's happening to me, then I know other people getting ran over because I fight back. So the thing about it is, yeah, we give, and we create these businesses and these nonprofits and whatever it is we do in order to fill a niche, a need, and a help, to be a help.
Mhm.
But that response to doing that is also fair exchange is no robbery. So if I do something, there's an expectation of something back from it.
Yeah. See, now once again, that's why I said it's different realms of this.
It is.
You saying by you being who you are, and
Mhm.
you done things
Mhm.
the way that they say do it to get
The IRS
each
asks for their
level.
paperwork every year,
Right.
10
To get-
years.
right, to
Yeah.
get your
You-
to get to elevate your situation.
Mhm.
The
But
state
you-
want their information
Right.
all to me to register every year to make sure all my board members and everybody is up to date. The whole thing. You ain't nobody seen no scandal of me doing this, and I was behind the church humping some rabbit or something. Ain't none of that stuff.
But
So
listen,
kept a clean name, did everything I need to do,
That you're
made sure that
supposed to
all
do.
those things. So I'm saying when the $100 million project was messed up, when the $250,000 was messed up, and they bought a whatever they bought at down when people call me that and very influential people call me here and there when they want something from the veteran side.
right.
But then it's like they create these barriers after you done got all this
Oh, yeah,
information and you
absolutely.
did all this stuff and you want something. You want to make it seem like you trying to help and help win, but then you turn it into something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna
Prime
say this. I
example.
want to say this. Okay, so like you say, fair exchange isn't a
No,
robbery.
no robbery.
Now, in a situation like that, in my opinion, this rule comes into play. There's nothing greater than an understanding. So therefore, now, say for instance, if this is just a hypothetical situation.
Mhm.
So say for instance, I'm hungry, right? And or say for instance, you're hungry, and I have a sandwich right here. Now, if you say, "Hey, Larry, can I get a piece of that sandwich?" And I tell you, "Yeah, man, you can get a piece. Cut you a piece, cut you half of it, and give it to you. You eat it." Then, say a week later, I'm hungry. You got a sandwich over there. I say, "Hey, George, can I get a piece of your sandwich?" And you tell me, "No, man, this is all I got."
Mhm.
Now,
I ain't ate all
hold on,
day.
watch this. Yeah,
Okay.
I ain't eat all day. This is all I got. Now, do I, Larry, have the right to be upset with George?
Yep.
I would say, well, hold on.
No.
I would say absolutely not.
No.
No. See, that's what the average person would be upset with him, but I don't
I
have
know.
that right, because when he asked for a piece of my sandwich
was your
should have
choice.
came with an understanding. Now, if I'd told George, hey man, if I give you a piece of this sandwich,
Mhm.
if I'm ever hungry and you got a sandwich, can I get a piece of your sandwich?
But why?
And hold on, listen, that's an understanding.
Okay.
And then George tell me yes, and then I give him that piece of the sandwich, and then a week later I'm hungry. He have a sandwich, and I asked him for a piece of his sandwich because I'm hungry and I don't have one, and he tell me no. Now I have all the right in the world to be upset because
No.
we
Why
had
do
an
it have to be a
understanding.
contract written
Before
before
it's an understanding.
a contract of
see-
understanding to determine whether or not I'm going to be upset or not because he did not give me a
But
sandwich?
see, by right, I shouldn't be
It's what
upset
you-
with him.
it depends on what
because
you
I
live
didn't
by.
have an understanding. Now,
I'm gonna
see,
sit
you
and
can't
say,
hold on. Let me say this. Mike. You
Our
can't
stand
hold on.
of fairness.
Listen to this, Stephanie.
Okay.
You cannot expect to have an understanding where you didn't leave one at.
What do you mean?
That's like
Understanding is the reality of the giving. That's the understanding.
But
Is
okay,
giving.
I understood. I gave him
That's
that piece of the sandwich.
understood.
Now later on,
what else
when
need to
he
be
had
explained?
hold up.
I give.
Okay, but see, I wasn't looking for. If I was looking for something in return before I give it to him, because see, he could have told me, "No, Larry, I can't say I'm gonna do that, man." And I could be like, "You know what? You sure right. Now I'm gonna eat my sandwich, and you can't have none of mine now."
and you eat
No,
yours.
but that's a
You see what
contract again.
Huh?
I feel like it's a contract.
Okay, well, you got a signing contract with yourself because if you can't, you gonna get mad when you shouldn't be able to get mad because you didn't get an understanding for you gave him what you gave him.
He might not be a share.
Right. He may say, you know how people will
share,
ask you,
but that might
and
not
won't
be a
give
share.
You. What it does for me, that's what I don't think.
Have more respect for the straight like it is understanding that person than the one.
And then who you dealing with, and that cuts that circle down even more smaller.
And see, but that put me in a position to where if I'm gonna be upset with Mr. George, I got the right to be upset because first of all, you lied to me. You got my sandwich under false pretenses because had you told me, no, Larry, been straight up like, no, Larry, next week or tomorrow, even if I got a sandwich and you ain't got now, I ain't giving you a piece of mine, and I had to respect that.
And did you hear the first word he used?
What?
Instead of saying contract, he said understanding. Understanding.
But what's understood shouldn't have to be explained.
Oh, no. See, now you expected to get an understanding when you didn't leave one that. Hold on. Yes, it do. What's to explain she'll be understood.
Nothing.
Yeah, see?
Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna make this quick. Let me tell you what. Hold on. Let me help you with something right quick.
Go ahead.
We help each other up here.
Straight up.
Tell me. Let me show you one of the biggest trickeries that get done to young blacks right to this day with the court system.
Okay.
They go talk with these bootleg attorneys and stuff, right? Now, you could take a cop where they tell you, hey, if you take this cop, you're gonna get 1.5 to 3 years.
Okay.
In prison.
Okay.
Now they'll tell them or say 5 years in prison.
Okay. Or you don't take it.
No, they say, or you could take the blind cop. They say you could take the blind cop. And they say, and by the way, your guidelines is anywhere from 3 years to 15 years.
Okay.
But with your guidelines, you only in your record, you only probably gonna get this here. So when they tell them that, they say, hey, give me the blind cop. They don't understand. When you take the blind cop, it ain't about your guidelines, no nothing.
It is what it is.
15 to 30.
It is what it is.
15 to 30.
And that's what it was.
See, with no understanding.
Yeah.
And then taking it that way leaves you open, and they get them every time.
Okay.
So everybody know understanding is the best thing in the world.
I'm telling you.
But
just if you don't have one, get one.
Yeah. But it don't need. That's what I'm saying. If you understand it,
but
it don't need to be explained.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. That sound real slick when they first came out with that. What's understood need not be explained. And I say, what's explained should be well understood.
Absolutely.
Give me the understanding. Don't give me the understanding. Because because if you would have gave him a piece of your sandwich, you saying that don't need to be explained. Now and when he double back and tell you, no, Stephanie, you can't get no piece of my sandwich. Now you got an attitude because you feel like y'all had an understanding, but y'all didn't.
Because I'll be like, what the hell? He done told me I can't have no sandwich.
Hypothetically speaking,
I'm mad.
Your boo come to you. Look back.
I need
this. Come on with this.
I just need this $3,000 to invest off into this.
This is hypothetical.
He say, I need this $3,000. So you with your what's understood meaning, explain meaning, he know when I get that 3 on that investment, when it turn or whatever, he should get that back.
Nope. I understood that when he asked me for the $3,000, what I know to be understood is no, because I know I ain't getting it back. Because you ain't got to explain nothing to me or why you need it, why you want it, or none of that. Because I know who you is and I know what you about. No.
Okay. But let's say that ain't the case.
Other than the boo.
Let's say no. So let's say that's the wrong boo. I'm talking about one that you don't know this about.
Okay.
Let's talk about one you don't know this about.
Right. Okay.
That been running.
Her boo don't pay back. He don't pay back.
Whoever you is, boo, bad credit.
You got your credit. You need a cosign.
Decline. Yeah.
To get anything.
So let's go with one that
denied.
Been on the up and up and just run smooth. Everything good with y'all.
Right.
So he tell you, hey, look, this, and you don't know what you know.
No, when I watch this,
and when you give it to him, do you expect it back?
Okay, now watch this.
Well, I don't expect it back, but what I do expect is to be appreciated in some form or fashion.
Well, he gonna appreciate you.
Don't take it and then break up with me. No, he'll take it and break. Did he break up with me?
So
he don't. He cheating. He done found another boo, and they done took that $3,000 and ran off.
As long as they appreciate you, it's good.
Stephanie Winfrey. Yes.
Stephanie Winfrey. You don't expect $3,000 back?
Huh?
You don't expect $3,000 back?
Well, if I'm with him.
Well, what you doing?
Okay,
tonight?
now what if? Okay,
well, no, hold on. What you doing
tonight?
tonight? I'm trying to go out with you tonight. $3,000
on camera. Listen here.
Okay.
Because I said if you don't expect it back, blow up. If you don't expect it back.
Wait a minute. I'm checking my hand.
Hold on. Okay. Stop, skirt. Okay.
Nah. No.
I'm saying you don't expect that money back.
If we are together, we are in a relationship, and we've been together for a minute, and I can trust you like that.
All right, now
watch and we have done business like this
okay,
before.
But watch this. Okay,
yeah. But just in a relationship, and you ask me for $3,000, I'm gonna look at you like. But no,
but listen, but hold on. But say you now take the same scenario. Watch this, because it's gonna come full circle. Now watch this. Now, say for instance, you give him the $3,000, right? Now that's actually, and he said he trying to invest in making a business. Or whatever. Right. He needs startup fee. You give him the $3,000 because you believe in him.
Yeah, I believe
now that's actually helping him. That's not saying I want to see you win.
Okay.
That's actually saying I'm going to help you win.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. Now we're going there.
Now, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Then you turn around, y'all. his business. He take the $3,000 investment, and he's whining and dining you. The business is flourishing, and then he find another woman 9 months later.
There, Reverend.
9 months later. Now. He marches off into the sunset with this other woman 9 months later. Do you want your $3,000 back?
I will be waiting on the boat for him.
No. We ain't. I said, would you want your $3,000 back? Okay.
I ain't gonna get it back that way.
No.
So,
I ain't gonna get it back that way.
What you gonna do?
Oh,
see, it's gonna cost you more than $3,000.
You really want it back?
No.
I don't want it. I don't want the $3,000. He asked me, "Do I want the $3,000 back?" No, I don't want that.
What do you want?
She want the fat part of his behind. That's what she want.
I'm coming for that ass. I'm telling you. I am coming for that ass. I'm coming around that corner.
So it sounds like two movies. What was that one movie with Taraji? Yeah, when the husband made that battery or whatever.
Waiting on the boat. That's why I said I'm waiting on the boat.
It sounds like waiting to exhale.
Yep. Are we waiting on the boat?
But hold up. And you know what?
And then James Mayfield said.
They tell you I was behind the bush.
James Mayfield said, "Nice guys finish last."
That's right, brother. Straight up. Yeah. Now, see, she ready to bust some heads, some windows, and everything. Hold on. Now, he just hold up, but he whined you and dined
to
you.
The white meat.
Hold up. I didn't took care of her. Hold up. He saying he done got you together. He done took you. Y'all done been to events together. You done been walking with your arm. Hold on. And then all of a sudden, since he choose to go in a different direction, you want your money, but you don't want your money back. You want the fat part of his
okay, now let's go. Let's take it here.
It's rage.
Just tell him we separate, right?
Okay.
And now if we separate on terms, like we just on
a contract.
No, wait.
Non-verbal contract.
Wait. If we separate because we're separating, not due to anybody else but us. And he gone, and I didn't give him.
And a week later, he get him a new.
And I didn't give him.
He had that woman all alone.
No,
if it come on too fast.
No, if you know me, I know.
I know he had.
If you know me, listen,
girl, he been doing that shit.
I'm sipping on
if
that
you
wine.
know
You
me,
I'm just saying,
if you know me, I done done my investigation, so I know. So
Get
they
them
call me the
bullets that I had ordered.
investigator.
Did them bullets I ordered come in?
Then I did the investigation, so I know she ain't been around. So this is the new
Did
one.
them bullets
So
come
wait
in
a
I
minute.
ordered?
I know, trust and believe.
Nice.
But now, if ain't nobody in the picture, and he decides that okay, we decide to break up, and he got my $3,000, and I
Oh,
done
he
held
got
him.
my 3,000.
Yeah,
it's still
and
your
he done-
3,000
it's
at that
still
point.
my 3,000 because I gave it to him.
Lord,
She's still counting that money, man.
Still counting that
She's
money
still counting
that she gave away friendly on air.
9 months ago.
On air, she gave away with no strings attached. Oh, it done came to the light now.
Hey, listen.
Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
So wait.
that's a beautiful thing. Listen to it. That's
Wait
hold
a
up, but
minute.
that's
It
see,
came to the light now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That $3,000 is counted
Hey,
for.
Wait a minute. And he decide that he gone and doing
okay,
whatever.
he going about his business. You want about your business. Now listen.
I'm
Now,
happy
a week
for him.
later, hold on.
I'm happy for
But a
him.
week later,
I find out about another woman.
Week later, they lovey-dovey, they Facebooking it up. They doing all they out. They whining and dining. Hold on, no, listen. They whining and dining at the best restaurant.
Who out there know me?
Hold on, I think
Lines
everybody
is
gonna know you in
blowing
a
up.
minute.
Who out there know me?
Everybody gonna know you.
People that know me,
Lines
you
is blowing
already
up.
know.
Say that
You
was
already know what they
that
gonna
was
do.
the right scenario.
They
Huh?
already know I'm pulling up.
Hold on, but listen, he might have just met the woman that week.
I
But
don't
see-
care if it was a year ago.
Yeah.
I am pulling up.
Okay,
Period.
then flat out.
Listen.
Okay, so I got you. Well,
Yo,
at least he being honest.
Well, look, son, we don't have a fatality on here.
Right.
Your skin is getting red. Let your blood pressure go down. This was hypothetically speaking. It
They
wasn't
got my
real.
blood pressure up. And listen, I'm not even in a relationship. That right
Ready to
there.
pull up. Hey, listen, she done hit a remote starter on her car. She ready to go now.
Over to somebody's house.
Mike, come on, let's go.
Hold on. It wasn't $3,000. It was $200. What that do okay for my money?
and then me knowing her and counting the interest, bitch. Yo, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah.
I got a bullet for each guy.
You better know it.
Oh my God! Don't try to play me.
Yeah.
But I don't mind helping.
That's right.
You know, and even if I got a guy
But
friend, I don't mind helping, but just don't disrespect me.
For the sake, okay, well, let me just say, so you will never feel disrespected.
Okay.
You'll never be disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do nothing else for Larry Lott, do me a favor.
Okay.
Always get an understanding.
Okay.
Always, it doesn't hurt. Just hear my
nowadays
voice.
In writing.
Always. I mean, even if you get
a transaction,
okay, right? But you know, if he might take it a step further. But I'm saying at least get a verbal understanding. So when you do clown, you know he'll know why you clown.
Exactly.
He'll know exactly why.
And that verbal understanding.
He won't think that he whined and dined you and romanced you and feel like he done paid you back through.
Because in that verbal
that's
understanding,
how most men think,
but listen,
it's gonna say I'm on the way at the end of the. That's it. That's all. I'm on the way.
Old Mac, God rest his soul, named Buster Evans. Old man Buster.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Buster told me, man, long ago, he said, look here, man. He just always remember, man. He said, don't never give away nothing you can't afford to lose.
Flat out. Well,
I'm not saying I can't afford it.
It's not about you. We have an open conversation.
Oh, okay. But I get that.
Thing.
It's people right now that probably somebody asked them for something. And they debating on whether they was going to give it to them.
And the true one.
And I would say whoever out there in cyberland,
yeah,
before you do anything for anyone, if you expected anything in return, please let that be known before you give it to them. And you ask them, hey, if I need this, not that I'm loaning this to you, but I'm saying if I need it and you have it, would you give it to me? Would you see? Because I'm gonna tell you something. With a lot of these, with the thing, did you put that meme up? A lot of people will ask you for something that they know they wouldn't give you.
Yeah,
I got a question for you, Larry. Though.
Yes, let me see. Let me see if I can find the answer.
Okay. So you got this understanding, right?
No, the meme is up. Please look at that meme on that thing and tell me what you think. For anybody that's paying attention to this podcast.
So I have a question for you, Larry.
Did you see the meme?
I don't see the meme.
Okay, I want you to see.
What
Go
the
ahead,
mean?
ask me a question. I should.
The question is, so about this understanding. So you got this understanding, this verbal understanding. But when do they renege on it?
Now, let me help you out with that.
Go ahead.
I hear what bro's saying, but I'm telling you the proper legal way
Right.
to have a
You can
leg
take
to
them down in
stand
the court.
on is verbal agreements do not stand up in no court of law.
No.
It's about getting in
In
writing.
writing.
Say, hey, it's about separating. There's
Business.
another saying: when business begin, all type of friendships end.
Right.
You sit over here, you get that in writing, notarized. Now you can go to court, and they can tell me, I'm gonna put a lien on this.
Yeah.
Something you got to pay it, because just like on the movie The Founder, how that investor with the malt machines ended up owning McDonald's from the real McDonald brothers.
Oh wow!
The Founder is a cold movie to watch.
Oh, it was on Netflix or what?
Yeah,
The Founder.
The Founder, the one sell the malt shakes.
Okay.
He ended up owning and taking the McDonald people name and everything. You understand? But when they did the last business with him, he told them, he said, and I also give you like 5 or 10%. So they wrote the deed, they did the signing part, but the last part was a handshake.
Right.
He never honored that. And the business grew so out cold when they did the math that if he would have honored the handshake, they would have had millions.
Yeah.
But didn't do nothing.
They didn't do it legal. When they write it.
The last part was a handshake. Sweeten the pot to get them to do what they was doing.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
but and that's been my
your
problem.
Word against mine.
Okay, so now let's get back to the beginning when you asked me that question, and that's been my problem.
Well, you answered it.
Yeah,
you want your damn money.
Yeah,
or smash.
Yeah,
the fat part of
too. I want it, and I'm gonna tell you where that come from. Me helping, and then I've always gotten got. You know what I'm saying? You know, I rented out my property. They got on that so many times. But Mike always tell me, and he's been the one who tell me
the voice of reason.
The voice. He's always told me things of voice of reason, and I never listen.
He get good advice.
But let's get to the real true part about the voice of reason. There's a very important part about that. It says when one chooses not to listen to the voice of reason, then experience become their teachings.
Absolutely.
You know,
and it has been my teaching.
AKA a hard head.
Make a soft. Yeah. And that's a true statement.
Yeah.
Because that's just been what I have experienced, and to make me where I am today, the person that I am today.
Right.
I have been remolded.
So let me throw something in there.
I don't like it, but I really don't.
But you just have to. It's all we all are working process.
Yeah.
In progress in process.
Right.
We all are working process, and that's what when, like I say, a lot of times when I'm speaking, I'm talking to me. You know what I'm saying, about me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying. I ain't got
and
no
it
trick.
Stops you from making mistakes,
right?
And stops me from making bad choices. And I don't try to be mean or anything.
No,
but I don't have that trust like I used to.
And that's understandable.
I mean, just don't. Very understandable.
Yeah.
You know, when you people that got good hearts and try to do things, you're gonna get burnt.
I get burnt every time, and I'm done with the burning.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to the clinic for the burning.
No, you speak for yourself. The views and
views and opinions
belong to who you hear come from.
Yeah. So going off of what y'all saying, you know, I still have my viewpoint on if I'm doing something, regardless how admirable or how, you know, if I'm feeding the dolphins or saving the baby seals, I want something in return because I put something together. For the understanding is having a business, is having a nonprofit, a 501c19, and when I do the paperwork.
No, see that ain't the understanding. That's just giving you the legal grounds to do what you do. That's not an understanding.
So let's break it down and let's be more specific. So when you say I got the business, I have the track record, did that, no money has been messed up nowhere, all this stuff. So
that's to be expected.
Understood. So what you saying? What's the understandings?
No, you. What I'm telling you, the understanding is That's just you having your paperwork and having that all done. That's cool. Now, what you did, now you could have said, "Hey, if I deliver these waters, I'm expecting this in return." And then hold on, let's hear. Just
I'm
hear me
listening.
out. No,
I'm
okay.
listening.
So you said, "Hey, if I'm delivering these waters from here in the first ward, I'm expecting this in return." Now, if they don't give you, if they say, "Okay, George, we'll give you that," and then they don't give it to you, now you know what I'm saying. Hold on, now you got the right to be upset. How openly, at least in my opinion. Now, if you don't do that, and then it's kind of like you kind of misled them because they could also could have told you, say, hey, if you would have said you wanted this to begin with,
We
we
wouldn't have
would have
did
said no off
Right,
the
I
rip,
get
and
that.
then you wouldn't have never been felt
Yeah.
like you've been taken advantage
I
of.
get that.
You see what I'm saying? That's the
Well,
whole
I
point
get
well,
that.
with having to understand.
So
Under-
Well,
where
Right.
exactly are
one
you
point to be
feeling
made
short?
that I was never expecting nothing
No,
in that sense. Dealing with the water stuff, there was nothing to be negotiated, and there was nothing that I tried to negotiate.
So
I
help
just
me
I was just going
I was
about
just
what you
doing.
spoke on.
Help
though,
me
that's all.
understand
That
the
was-
part you're talking about.
I'm talking about as growing in business. Water thing is gone.
Okay.
Right.
You know, you
So
yesterday's
that was
yesterday's
done.
hits.
So what
is
was your
yesterday's
next
Okay,
hits.
what's
entry
the-
level
okay.
you was looking for?
So just growth as a company. We got over $2 billion worth of money being circulated in this community right now.
And you saying you're
And
not
I'm
getting
saying
nothing.
and I'm saying that the barrier to entry is more difficult than what it should be when you have the credentials and have done the work and have the track
I agree
record.
with you on that.
Yeah,
I do. I agree
can
with you on that.
I'm just
Go ahead.
asking the question because I don't really know. But
They
when
make
you-
it hard for
when
us.
you looking for assistance in some type of way or something, and when you go to ask for these, don't you have to fill out these requests for the grant funds a certain way? It have to be written a certain way,
Yeah.
Most
and
definitely.
you've turned it in that way.
Most definitely, you have to.
And
you know,
then you can
Okay,
then you got to
because-
stamp your butt on it.
Sometimes I guess it might be who
They
you
want
connected
everything.
with or who you know. You know,
Mhm.
it might be take some more campaigning to reach the right people to send something your way.
I'm not a circus clown and I don't dance for nobody.
Oh, okay.
So I'll do business and I will work hard and do what
But
I
you
need
gotta
to
find
do.
one that
But
want
I
to
ain't
work
about
under
to
them
I ain't about to dance
circumstances,
for
maybe.
nobody.
You'll get beat
I
up.
don't know the full dynamics, so I
Understood.
can't sit here to
Right,
tell you
right.
what I don't know. I'm just trying to
Understood.
figure
Understood.
wherever it comes from. It must be some type of way you have to go at it, and maybe you're not going at it the right
Go
way.
about it.
And that's what I'm talking about. It seems like every step that you didn't
But
do
this
it
is
quite
my
right.
thing.
You got to go 2 inches to the left, 2 inches to the right. You can almost there. You almost, like that
But
one commercial.
The carrot
So-
dangling
almost
with the carrot.
made
with
it.
the
Yeah,
carrot
yeah.
in front of you.
So you know what the problem is? Whoever you're dealing with, they're not being transparent about the process. And if they were
Speaking to your mic.
transparent about the process, they could guide you a little bit better and make things a little bit more clearer so you can have a better understanding. So it's whoever you're dealing with, they're not being transparent with you.
Right.
Well, it's the system itself, and it's not just
Yeah.
that side. The communication period, that part
Yeah.
is the biggest thing. So what I don't know, and I need to, me and my organizations need to step up on. Let me know or give it clarity for that, because I ain't perfect,
Yeah.
and there are
And they
things that
know
I can
that.
grow on. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, because it's just the system fault. It's the man. None of that. I'm saying the reciprocity of the process doesn't seem to be there when you're given guide rules and things like that, and you've done these things, and then the rules change the next day, or
So
the
if the rules
understanding is
change
not
and whoever
where it's supposed
you're
to be.
working with, because when you're working with these people,
It's the
usually
system.
you are
You talk about federal government, state government, city government.
Usually you assign someone, and when you assign someone in that process, because I've dealt with this before. Okay, not too close.
Yeah.
Okay, not with I've dealt with this process before, and usually they have a particular person that you deal with only. That person is still not being transparent with you. I don't care, because you got to constantly, if you're being lost, pick up the phone. Stop the emailing. No, I need a live person. I need to get Wanda back on the phone, because Wanda is the one who I've been dealing with through this whole process. They should assign you someone. I've been assigned someone. And when I'm having a problem, that's that person that you need to go to. Period. And if that person is not being transparent with you, and you being lost along the way, it's time to talk to a supervisor because that's crazy.
Well, I would
I
say
get what you're saying.
communication is the key, and communication breeds an understanding. You know, and like I say, you cannot expect to have don't be disappointed if you come back to a situation and you expected an understanding when you didn't get one to begin with.
That's right.
You know,
That
a person
goes
don't
back
owe
to
you
the
they
understanding.
don't owe you an understanding on the back end.
Yeah, because what it sounds like to me is,
But they owe him an understanding in the
I'm
beginning.
not saying I'm saying anybody,
because so that he
right,
can get
exactly.
understanding.
I said on the back end. So long as you get your understanding on the front end, then when you get to the back end, you got you know.
But what it sounds like to me, in all honesty, is that he's entered an arena.
Yeah.
And he don't know the
foolishness.
true rules of engagement.
Yeah, a foolishness.
Because it's some doors that have to be knocked on. Because now I've heard Mott is generous with giving grant money. Have you applied something for Mott?
The organization has done things with a lot of different entities.
But I mean, have you pursued getting a grant from the Mott Foundation?
Because they are giving.
Because I heard
we've
they
been
generous.
involved. We've been involved with a lot of different organizations.
Oh, okay. We leave it there.
Okay. Well, listen, it's been a very interesting.
Yes, it has.
Subject. Very interesting show.
I had to run off.
I hope that someone out there was able to get something from it because I definitely got something from it.
If nothing else, I understand
that's
it.
That's right. I'm telling you, that's the best thing in the world. That's why they say it's the best thing in the world. Because as long as you have an understanding, that leaves very little, if any, room for a misunderstanding.
That's right.
You know, and it's hard for somebody to use you with an understanding from on the front end. Yep. Now you can feel used on the back end.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, so keep that in mind. And any closing
I just want to ask a quick
Go
question.
Yes, sir.
At our ages, at our good golden ages.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to know this question. At these good golden ages that we are.
Right.
When it comes to that help thing of what we was talking about and different things,
right.
I think with all the experiences and things we've been through, we all should be much wiser, and we should be pretty much on point to where we don't have to sit and be blindsided or be trickery or deception can be ran on us.
Right. Right. Facts.
I feel we didn't experience enough not to go there. Because like at my age, shouldn't no woman
hear what I got to say.
I meet and date. No woman that I meet and date different things.
I'll not ever
should ever be needing to ask me for nothing. And I shouldn't be needing to ask her for nothing. We should be able to join each other and decide we're going to be together and hold each other down and just do what we want to do for one another.
Absolutely.
In peacefulness and happiness.
Yeah.
But at my age, I can't go try to help this woman get her business started at 90 years old.
No.
She enjoyed it. You on
Not
your way out of here.
Out of here with no 90. And she's 90. So the point is, some form of establishment should already be there for us. But the message for the younger and up and coming, beware, because there's a whole lot of wolves
trickery
in sheep
clothing
out here.
You better know.
I'm done with it.
Right. Yeah, you absolutely right, because you don't got to worry about me. I'm going to be single for a long time.
And long your single journey, please get an understanding on the front end.
But
I
think I speak for me and George F. Grundy II. Can we borrow $3,000?
Hell no.
No. I'm gonna speak from Stephanie from First National Bank. No.
No. Denied. Rejected.
Yeah.
See, that's what we talking about now.
All right, well, listen here. It's been fun, but we gotta run. And hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. And we're gonna be here next week. Hopefully a little earlier, but we will be here next week. And we're gonna do this, not the same topic for sure, but we definitely gonna have a good discussion. So I'd like to send a shout out. Matter of fact, before we leave, I would like to send a shout out to MUA Job. Book her for makeups. Her website is makeupismylife.com. You know, check her out.
MakeupIsMyLife.com. Y'all
Makeup
ladies
is,
out there,
yeah,
y'all
that's for
know
the
not
ladies. That's for the
need this
ladies.
little glam.
Yeah,
Come
if you're
on.
feeling like the ugly stepsister,
You
let
turn
her
to the
put
beauty
you on a
swan,
10
beautiful swan.
and take care of you because she's very good at what
Yeah.
she does.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so you know, we're gonna come back next week, you know, and like to say, you know, signing out, like I say. Oh, and let me let y'all in on a little secret at the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? The secret is there are diamonds in the mud. So whatever you do, just remember to get it out the mud.
There you go.
And this has been episode 50 of Lessons with Larry. And we're